Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. It's always fun when we get to feature something we don't see too often or something that offers great value, and this watch is both. You're looking at the Montblanc Nicolas Rieussec GMT chronograph, a monopusher chronograph that's part of a family of watches that debuted back in 2008, and this model right here has been around since at least 2009. We have a second time zone, we have a date, we have a chronograph, all of this in a 43 millimeter stainless steel case that's 15.2 millimeters thick, lug tip to lug tip. It measures 51 millimeters, and end link to end link 53.4 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. So it's a fairly large watch, and emerging from the late 2000s, that's not a shock. But what might be a surprise is that it doesn't necessarily wear like some of the giants from that period. The watch feels good. I would say my wrist is fine. If your wrist is my size, you could wear this well. Down the barrel, over the top, the cuff shot. It does have a fairly sloped bezel. I'd say 16 centimeters circumference wrist and up. This is going to wear well, feel good, and it's nicely balanced by the substantial clasp and bracelet. Now, Montblanc only started making watches in 1997. I know some people are going to say it's Montblanc. It's not Montblanc. Well, okay, we're going to do our best here. But they only started making watches in 1997. Most of these were simply customer calibers cased up around handsomely styled luxury grade watches that weren't technically that interesting, at least initially. Later on, they would acquire Minerva, and that would be integrated into Montblanc as the high-end, say, a few hundred pieces a year of their line. But their manufacturer in Leloc was constructed to build about 100,000 watches a year, showing both incredible ambition and also their interest in becoming a mainstream watch manufacturer, approaching the volumes the likes of Breitling, for example. So this watch right here hails from the Leloc factory. The Minervas come from the Villeret factory, but don't underestimate this watch. This is a Montblanc caliber, and I have to qualify that because, like a lot of Richemont Group brands that are not traditional movement manufacturers, they got a little bit of a helping hand from Valfleurier. So if you've heard of VF, you know they help with movements for everyone from Piaget to IWC to Montblanc and others, Baume & Mercier, and they help to supplement movement engineering capabilities. So instead of going to ETA or Solida or La Jouperet or something outside of the Richemont Group, their in-house movement manufacturer, sort of a mini ETA, if you will, is Valfleurier. So this is a VF Montblanc caliber that would have been assembled and regulated in Leloc using a design laid down by Valfleurier. So the watch is very capable. The movement, we're going to start with the movement first. It's called the MBR 200, and you can see it's nicely sized for a big watch. Column wheel with vertical clutch. So the column wheel makes for a very crisp action. It's a very light and sharp feel. It's not like the chunky feel of a El Primero 400 or a Rolex 4130 or a Breitling B01. I'd actually compare this column wheel feel favorably to something like a Lange 951 Dotograph caliber. Really, it's got a nice light click, a snap to it that's positive and upscale. Now, it also has a vertical clutch, which means when you start it, there's no jump to the seconds disc. And then you can leave it running full time if you just like to have scrolling seconds. It's not going to create any additional wear and tear to the watch. Twin barrels, automatic winding. You can see at center it uses ceramic ball bearings for greater efficiency. It's got a 72-hour power reserve, which is pretty respectable, and it's a 4 Hz beat rate. It's a modern architecture movement, you can see, with a free-sprung balance and a balance bridge. This is a sports watch movement that's designed to be fairly resilient against shock. 40 jewel movement, 4 Hz beat rate. The one feature it does not appear to have is any kind of hacking seconds. So that's perhaps the only omission, but because it also doesn't have running seconds, that might not be quite as critical. You can see if I were to stop the chronograph and reset it, it's a fairly inert dial. That is why I say if you wish to leave the chrono running just so you have a second scroll, I don't blame you. And with the vertical clutch, that's easy to do. So the lack of hacking is not really a handicap here. There's a date window off at 3 o'clock, and then there's a day-night window over at 9 o'clock. And so what we've got is we've got this superimposed double 12 time zone feature. So let me find the intermediate position here. There we are. So you can see how I'm able to move the local hour, and as I do so, I can jump that date forward and backwards as I'm traveling. We're going to pull the crown out all the way now so you can see that second time zone. So it's a nice double 12 in that you can superimpose these two hands and they'll stay that way, cleaning up the dial when you don't need the second time zone. Now that reference time zone, you can see as it approaches nighttime, that little day-night indicator begins to go blue. So that is your day-night indicator for the reference time. So even though it's a 12-hour format second time zone, you do know whether you're looking, for example, like 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. So it effectively has 24-hour functionality. Now, in terms of aesthetics, you could see a lot of this is based on the historic Nicolas Rieussec or Nicolas Rieussec. You could see his original chronographs would have featured this unique double bridge and scroll system. So the idea is to look like the historic pieces, but not so much like the historic pieces that it doesn't wear well or look right as a wristwatch. And there are many different configurations of the Rieussec line. So this particular one features the day-night, the two time zones, the date, and then the twin scrolls. And you can see the bridge right here is very nicely decorated, mirror polished with handsome rounded bevels. You'll also appreciate the solarization on the discs, and then there's a lovely polished track for the minutes outboard. You could see radial satination across the hour track of the primary dial, and then diagonal Côte de Genève with opaline silver white framing the upper portion of the dial. It's very attractive. It does include, we're just going to be clear, a little bit of luminescence, not a lot, but a little bit. And then you can see on the reverse side, we have sort of, I wouldn't necessarily call it a bifurcation of the movement because it's not quite split in the middle, but you can see it has a distinct upper half and lower half with a lot of the detail elements like a nice machine-applied bevel, blued screws, also polished screws, snailing on the edge of the bridges, stripes across the individual bridges, polishing of the column wheel, and then all this 30 meters water resistant. There is a lot to like. So if you want something that perhaps has more exclusivity than your average Royal Oak Offshore, but with similar wrist presence, here you get a very cool watch. It doesn't have the water resistance of an offshore, but in every other regard, it's just about as tough, it's just about as large, and it has a lot more cool functionality for a whole lot less money. It's very difficult for me to say exactly what this competes with, but a GMT chronograph in general is a type of watch that you can wear almost anywhere on any occasion and it will always have something to offer you. It's a very useful piece. The bracelet is handsome and you can see it's fairly nuanced. Actually, the design of the bracelet reminds me a little bit of the first generation Vacheron Constantin Overseas, which I'm sure is purely coincidental, but it does have that sort of look to it, a combination of satin finished tops and then sort of beveled and polished edges. The one shortcoming here is that we do have bar fixed removable links. So if you want to size this, you're going to need a block and a punch to do so, but you can see that there are intermediate links in here to sort of help you if you are in between sizes. Double folding clasp, you can see twin trigger release. The case design is fairly simple. You have the mono pusher, you have the crown, the little Montblanc logo on the crown itself, and then there's a bit of a fluting to the flank of the lugs just to break up the mass, a vertical step, and then domed profile to the bezel with a nicely layered dial that has a lot of different materials, textures, tones, colors, and focal planes. Fantastic watch from a brand that'll be around forever to provide parts and service, and one of the great names in luxury. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.